How's it going, everyone? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. I want to say thank you to all of you that have been supporting the channel, my viewers, my subscribers, and my eBay customers. You are all just amazing. If you want to help support the channel and you like what you see, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe, smash that like button, and of course, comment in the comments section below. Also, I have an eBay store called the Carolina Collector 001, where I've been selling graded slabs, loose sports cards, and other random items, basically whatever comes across my path will most likely end up on eBay. I'll make videos about it, giving my customers a bit of a heads up. And go check it out. It helps to support the channel. Thank you to everyone who has done so already. I am really, really appreciative of that. So, I actually have a little time to make a video today. By the way, to my eBay customers, as soon as I'm done uploading this, your orders are going out today. And keep a lookout for your tracking numbers, so they'll be in the mail hopefully before noon. We'll see what happens. But anyway, this is one of those videos that's always a point of contention amongst collectors when it comes to the grading companies. Which one is better? Which one do you get more value from? Which one just aesthetically looks more pleasing to the eye? I mean, these are debates that just get tossed up in the air, and this is a case of personal preference to me. Yeah, a lot of the cards I'm going to show you have quite a significant value. Some do, some don't. It all depends. But to me, it's a mixture of value, protecting myself in the future if, God forbid, financially something goes wrong. I got a little something I could fall back on. And I love collecting these cards. I mean, that's basically what it boils down to is, the love of the hobby. And there are certain cards with certain players that I wanted, which I do have. And they're a mixed bag across the spectrum of cards that are available to us. Some of these I got at a decent price. Some of these I submitted myself. But again, it all depends. It all depends on the situation, how badly I want the card. If the card holder itself, like in one particular case, which I talked about here on the channel, the holder was damaged, and thank God, the card itself wasn't damaged, came back a perfect 10. It's all personal preference at this point for me. But, you have a lot of people in the hobby, unfortunately, that exude greed. I've discussed that here on the channel, where it's all about making a quick buck. For me, yeah, I do sell multiples of certain cards that I get when I break boxes, of course, and I make them available to you. But my personal collection comes first and foremost before any of that. And then I'll put together a box to donate to the neighborhood kids. And then whatever multiples of certain cards that I got will be up on eBay, of course. And if I decide to let go of some of these slabs, obviously, if I do anything that's on eBay, I'll upload a video or a short about that. But, my slab collection is very small and pretty modest. I kind of prefer singles because, you can actually, in a lot of ways, devalue a card by putting it into a slab. But with certain cards, I just don't care. And certain cards just look good in certain slabs. So I'm going to run you through my small yet modest collection of slabs, starting with the reholder, Aaron Judge Refractor. This card was in such poor condition when I bought it. The original SGC slab had a giant crack in it, and it was all scuffed and scratched. So I resubmitted it to SGC. I got it for cheap. And thank God it came back a 10. And it looks good. The New York Yankees uniform consists of dark navy blue and gray and or white, depending on their home and away uniform. But for me, any Yankees card or most chrome cards look really good in SGC slabs. That's up for debate. That's your personal preference. For me, this particular card really, really looks nice in an SGC 10 holder. Now, here's a card that would look would look good in this holder or in a PSA holder. I would have loved to have submitted this to Beckett just for the aesthetic, but this is my Ethan Salas out of 50 auto, a 1010 from SGC. Still looks good. Golds are a little hit and miss sometimes for their presentation and their aesthetic, but this card, to me, is not all that bad, to tell you the truth, in an SGC holder. I would have loved to have seen this in a Beckett holder because I believe Beckett have gold labels, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that's ubiquitous with all of their cards, Because I know certain cards, like even SGC does that, like they have a certain label. If the card is absolutely perfect, they have a special label for that. And it's so rare to get one of those labels that, you know, it'll make the value go up almost astronomically. So now here's a card that looks really good in a PSA holder. I mean, arguably you could have put this into a SGC holder because of the nature of the color match with the uniform. But here's my Paul Skeens Red Mojo Fractor, or Red Border Mojo Fractor, 2 out of 5. It's a PSA 10. And this would have looked good, you know, in any of the holders. But because, you know, PSA have that, you know, red border around their label, it looks good. It looks really good. I won this in auction, and thank God I bought this when I did, because I'm starting to see Paul Skeens cards go, phew. I believe right now cards of this nature, especially, you know, a super short print like this, a 2 out of 5, I mean, they're going for like $2,000, and I paid like $1,100 for this sucker right here in a legitimate auction from a very good seller on eBay. So I got lucky with this one. But whether or not this was an SGC holder or a PSA holder, to me would have made no difference. But I wanted to chase down my end-all, be-all Paul Skeens, and this is it right here. And that leads me to the next card, which I picked up as a single at the time, and now they're going for pretty hefty prices as well. I want to guess that this is probably like anywhere between $300 and $400. If it was a perfect 10, it might even be more than that. That's my Paul Skeens 9.5 Mojo Fractor out of 50. And this looks good in an SG slab. Now, I recently sold an out of 75 yellow version of this, but the gold version looks just as good. And it's a color match to his uniform, which is great. So to me, aesthetically, it looks so much better in an SGC holder than it would in a PSA slab. Now, I'm going to skip along here. For example, here's another color match. My Shohei Ohtani rookie from 2018. Because of the nature of the label, and he's wearing his California Angels uniform, it's a nice color match to the label. It looks good. It's aesthetically pleasing to me. And obviously, red and black is my favorite motif, by the way. I got to make that clear. I love red, I love black, and I love white in any of those combinations. So for me, this is aesthetically pleasing. Yes, the card has value, but it looks good if I were to put this on display. Here's one that's kind of like in the middle. I wanted an end-all, be-all Bobby Witt, and I did find that. This is a Bowman Chrome Bobby Witt Jr. PSA 10, a Bowman Chrome Prospect. And you could have either put this into an SGC slab or a PSA slab like this one is in. I mean, I got this for a relatively decent price, so I got my end-all, be-all Bobby Witt Jr. I'm not going to go chasing his cards anymore because I got a card that's pretty decent. Got it for a really good price, and Bobby Witt is, you know, he's a tank. I think he's going to be like the next Mike Trout, in my opinion. But he's a great player, and it's just a really, really nice card. Now, here's my Jackson Merrill out of 50, which, again, arguably would have looked better in a SGC holder, but I bought this at the time for a pretty decent price. Now, of course, Jackson Merrill's one of those up-and-coming rookies that is doing pretty good in the game. And I got very lucky. It still has the eBay authenticity guarantee sticker on there. Yeah, obviously when I get these, I don't open them or anything. This is one that arguably would have looked good in a SGC holder, but I got it at a decent price yet again. That's a Barry Bonds rookie. This is not Tiffany. This is your standard set. Again, still has the authenticity stickers on there. But this would have looked good in an SGC holder, if you ask me. But I got it for cheap. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these. I'm looking for the more aesthetically pleasing cards. See, here's one that's like a little bizarre as far as like color matching is concerned. I think either way it would have worked, but in this case, it does work for PSA. It has more like a Christmas feel to it, which is kind of strange. This is a Juan Soto prospect out of, I believe, 99. Let me see here. Yes, this is a 77 out of 99 Juan Soto prospect shimmer. Again, has the eBay authenticity sticker on it. But because of the PSA label, you know, he's in his red uniform there, it doesn't look all that bad, but the green throws it off a little bit. So I think I'm establishing my point that it's all about personal preference. Here's my Don Mattingly rookie PSA 10 that I picked up for a pretty decent price. And this probably would have looked good in an SGC holder because of the nature of his uniform, if you wanted to color match it for aesthetics. Then we have our classic Ken Griffey Jr. rookie, which I happen to be the proud owner of. This is a PSA 10. I did have two SGC 9s, which I sold off a while back. Arguably, it looks so much better in a PSA holder, excuse me, than it did in an SGC holder. But either way, if these are so difficult to gem, which is why the price is so expensive on these guys. I mean, they always sell for $1,800 and up in some cases. So either way, it looks good. Here's a good example of a really nice color match. This is my Top Series 1 flagship from 2024. This is a team color border variant. Ellie De La Cruz. It's a 9.5. And paper sometimes can be really difficult to grade. There are... You can see in the top corner right there, there's one little nick on that corner. Otherwise, it would have been a perfect 10. That's the only reason why this did not gem, unfortunately. But it's a 9.5. I'm still happy to have it. And I just recently listed the blue border version of this card, which was an SGC 10. But as far as the color match and aesthetics is concerned, regardless of that grade, it looks good. And I'm happy to have this. It's not a perfect 10, and it's not a 9. It's somewhere in the middle. Still a good card. Very happy to have this in my collection. I probably would never part with these. I had two of them. I sold one, which I think was a 9. But this one I'm definitely keeping for my collection. And here's a heavy hitter. And this one did get a well-deserved 9.5 because, again, this is a very difficult card to gem because of the nature of the card. And this is from Series 1 flagship. This is my Ellie Baseball Stars bookend 1 out of 25. We're talking a pretty heavy hitter here. So perfect 10 as far as the auto, 9.5 as far as the card is concerned. There's just one or two little issues up on top right there. You would have to really, really look careful. You could probably see it on camera. But this is one of those heavy hitters. It looks good in this holder. I would have preferred it that it be in an SGC holder. This was a card I purchased at the time for a pretty decent price. And now Ellie De La Cruz cards have gone way up. So I'm very lucky I got my hands on this. But it is a bookend 1 out of 25, which I'm very fortunate to have. And it looks good. It presents well inside this holder. Would it look good in an SGC, a PSA holder? Yeah, of course. But to me, the black and the red, it just looks really good. And that's just a personal preference. So let's move along here. Now, this is one that's a bit oddball. And you guys and gals who have been watching my content for a while will remember this card, the controversial Corbin Carroll Cosmic Auto. It came back a perfect 10 as far as the auto is concerned, but it came back an 8.5 because it had a little bit of a centering issue. And on the back of the card, the corners, and I guess that's from the manufacturing, there was only so much that they can grade this at. I mean, it's still a 10, 8.5. You know, it is a Cosmic out of 75. I got it through Topps because my orange out of 25 was all screwed up from Mitchell and Ness. They sent me 2 cards. You guys revolted and spoke your mind in that particular video. I wrote the Topps. They sent me this, you know, because value-wise, it wasn't exactly a fair exchange. And remember, at that time, I was still fairly new at this. And you guys have been really, really, really keen to helping me be a better collector and being a little bit more aware of this type of stuff. So maybe I should crack it and put the peanut butter on there so I can get a perfect... No, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I have to be a bit facetious because it's just insane. This is a card that presents well, even though Bowman Platinum is really not like a desired set. But, you know, at the time, you know, up until Corbin Carroll's season sucked in 2024, you know, this was a pretty decent card to have. That's my 1010 Corbin Carroll auto from Platinum. And these were going for, you know, triple digits. I think they still are, but they're not going for the same price that they were. Because You know, Corbin had a bad season last season, but this is one of the very first cards I ever submitted for grading, and it looks pretty good in this holder. I'm not going to give it up, you know, until if I did find a better quality auto or a higher quality card, then I would probably go out of my way and sell that. But I'm very happy to have that in my collection. Now, here's one of those cards that's oddball, and it's just the nature of the gold cards when it comes to parallels. This is my Bo Bichette Mitchell & Ness out of 50, and this one's a mixed bag. Obviously, Mitchell & Ness, they're very difficult to gem in 10s. Whether it's SGC or PSA, they're very difficult to nail perfect 10s. You know, I've been fortunate to maybe have a handful of these, whether cards I've sold to my customers on eBay or, you know, some of the slabs that I have here. They're extremely difficult to gem. It's just because of the manufacturing issues that come with chromium cards. So, but the centering on this thing is off, and SGC, they really are sticklers for centering. And you can see that here with this card, and you can actually see it on the back. It's the top and bottom on both sides that are off. Now, here's an example of a well-centered card, but we're talking about Joey Votto here from Mitchell & Ness. You know, it came out a perfect 10. Centering is good, no issues on the face of the card, and still I'm happy to have this in my collection. And again, the gold border kind of takes away from the aesthetic. It's a nice color match for his Reds uniform, but again, it's just that gold. It could have been, that could have been in a PSA slab as well. So let me just speed this up here. This is one that really takes away from the aesthetics of the card. This could have been a PSA slab, but then again, this is another example of Topps lids Mitchell & Ness being difficult to actually gem. That's my Mike Trout orange out of 25. It came back in SGC 9, and that's because the centering is off. Like I said, these I've gone through hundreds of these cards. I mean, not this particular Mike Trout, but what I'm saying is that I've opened up so many of these Mitchell & Ness cards. You know, I've learned that they are an extremely difficult set to get perfect. But once again, you know, it's personal preference. Now, where are you? Now, here are some of the best examples of SGC as far as slabs are concerned that I really appreciate. Even though, like, they're not quite color matches. Again, this is just personal preference. These could have worked in PSA slabs just as much as they work with SGC, but there's the Bryce Harper color match out of 9, SGC 9, excuse me. This is a bookend 1 out of 5 red border, which are very difficult to find. So mine came out of 9, and that's because it's got top to bottom centering issues front and back, which you can clearly see. This is another one that looks good in an SGC holder, in my opinion, an Anthony Volpe 2 out of 5 from the Mitchell & Ness set red. This one is a bookend. Now, I had 2 of these. I opened up both. No, actually, that's a lie. I opened up the second one on camera. The first one I did not open up on camera. This is when I was still living up in North Charlotte, unfortunately, and I never filmed it. But that's the bookend 1 out of 5 Adley Rutschman. Looks pretty good. I mean, it's a Baltimore Orioles uniform. It's not quite a color match, but again, top and bottom centering is off on the back and slightly on the front. That's why I got a 9.5. And here's a card that just, again, it's the aesthetics. And this one just looks weird. And that's my perfect 10, 2 out of 5 Corbin Carroll, Mitchell & Ness parallel. This would have looked better, in my opinion, in a PSA slab, but it did gem, so I'm not going to complain about it, but I think aesthetically, this is one of those cards that would have looked better in a PSA slab. And no matter what you do with this particular guy, Shohei Ohtani will look good in any holder. And again, mine suffered from up and down issues. As far as off-centering is concerned, that's my bookend 1 out of 5. It came out at 9.5. But again, it's a nice color match to his Angels uniform at that time. And then finally, we got the Gunnar Henderson 9.5 from Mitchell & Ness. This is another bookend. Top and bottom centering issues. Again, you can see that on the back. But, you know, in my opinion, with only a handful of slabs that I have here, some look really good. And some just, like that Corbin Carroll, really does not look right in an SGC slab. It would have looked much better in a PSA slab. Here's my Jazz Chisholm 9.5 gold out of 50 from Mitchell & Ness. This would have looked much better inside of a PSA slab, in my opinion. But, you know, again, with the pricing that SGC offers and whatnot, and it's just easier for me to submit to them than it is to PSA. Though, somewhere down the line, I would like to start submitting to PSA and see what happens here. Here's another bizarre one before I end this video. That's my J-Rod 9.5 orange, and it just looks off in this holder. It just, I don't know, there's just something about it that just looks slightly off that I can't really put my finger on, but some cards just look really good. Some cards just don't really quite fit. Again, it all depends on personal preference. Here's my George Lombard Jr. auto. This would have looked good in either a PSA slab or an SGC slab, but because it's a Yankees uniform, not quite color match. This is an out of 199. I decided to go with SGC and got a 10 for the auto, 9 for the card, because there are centering issues again, top to bottom. It's slightly off. So, and you can actually see from left to right, it's just off very slightly. SGC, they really hit you when it comes to centering, so just keep that in mind. But anyway, again, like I said, it's all about personal preference and what looks aesthetically pleasing here. Like I have a team color border of, this is from Flagship. This came out as a 9.5. This could have looked good either in this slab or a PSA slab. To me, it doesn't really matter. But at the time, it was easier for me to submit to SGC. It came back in 9.5. I'm still happy to have this in my collection. It's slightly off left to right as far as centering is concerned, but after that, not a bad card to have in my collection. Again, another card that's a mixed bag. Spencer Jones, Bowman Chrome Prospect. Came back a 10. So, again, it's orange. It's an orange border, but we're dealing with a New York Yankee. And it's just all over the place. This would have looked good in a PSA slab, in my opinion. But, again, it was available to me in an SGC slab, so I ended up buying this as a single, as is. So, but anyway, folks, again, it all comes down to personal preference, you know. And I still got a lot more slabs that I can show, but you know, this video is already over 20 minutes, and I don't want to bore you any longer. Just certain cards look good, certain cards don't present well. Depending on which slab you put some of these cards in, I don't think it really matters as far as the value is concerned. It all depends on supply, demand, and aesthetics. So for me, I like some of my cards in my SGC slabs. Some other cards I really like in their PSA slabs. I think the two best examples of that are probably these guys right here. They just look good. My Paul Skeens and my Aaron Judge. They just look good in these slabs. There's just something about them that really, really attracts you to these cards that just make them look really, really nice. You know, to me, they're aesthetically pleasing. Or even this one here. We can compare these two side by side. They both look aesthetically pleasing in their own way. They're both matched up to either their label or to the uniform. They both look great. They would display quite well. I'm very happy to have these. You know, it's just like, yeah, my Harrison Bucker, again, same thing. This would have looked good either in a PSA slab or an SGC slab because, well, you know, again, my motif that I love the most is red, black, and white, but this particular card would have looked good in either. So again, it's personal preference. Your cards are yours to do with as you want. Obviously, the big controversy these days is the card cleaning. Obviously, PSA has banned card cleaning. You know, they consider it altering, and if you've been watching my content, you'll understand why they do that. Again, I am not the arbiter of card collecting. I'm just a regular newbie like the rest of you that loves this hobby and cares about the integrity of the hobby. But your cards are your cards to do with as you please, with the exception of submitting those cards for grading. You know, obviously, there's a lot of greed in the hobby these days. But, you know, what you do with your cards, that's your business. Which company you submit to, that's your choice. You do what you want. Obviously, you know, I don't really care either way. Some of these cards will look good in one holder. Some cards will look good in another holder. For me, it's about the hobby itself. And they look good. I'm not so concerned about the value. Obviously, if one day I fall under hard times, I would have to part with what I have. But for right now, collector-wise, they look good as is. So that's pretty much it, folks. That's my take on this whole ridiculous debate about the grading companies and blah, blah, blah. It's all, at the end of the day, it's all personal preference. But if you're one of these greedy neckbeards in, a local card shop or at these card shows, with your armpit hair sticking out from your wife beater shirt, smoking a Marlboro with broken teeth and long frizzy gray hair with a bald spot in the top of your head. If you're one of those people, then you couldn't give a shit about this video. But the rest of us newbies that are out there, or us normies, I should say, or if you're both, treat the hobby with dignity and respect. I mean, I'm very happy to have what I have. It's not a big collection, even though I didn't show you I didn't show you the complete set of slabs that I have. There's actually another dozen or so that I have off camera here, but I'm happy with my little collection. Not going to complain. All right, folks. Let me get these orders out to my customers. Christmas is right around the corner. I will be listing some more singles over at my eBay store. I'm just waiting for my top loaders to come. They should be here hopefully by tomorrow. Then I can start packing up what I've already separated, and then I'll put them as buy it nows. And then you decide what you want to do. The slabs I was talking about in my video last night, 6 out of the 8 are up there right now. The other 2 I'll list today sometime. So keep an eye out for that. One of you actually posted a comment about the super short print Paw Patrol Aaron Judge. I believe I have 3 more. I sold 1. I do have 3 in my Topps update box right there by my knockdown table. I'll decide whether or not I part with that. I really haven't taken a good look at the cards themselves, but most of the cards, most of the Paw Patrols, if not all of them, were pretty much cut the same. There's really no difference. I don't see centering issues or anything like that. At least to my eye, they all look exactly the same, centered or whatnot. And I believe that's the same case for the 3 super short prints that I got. So I'll decide whether or not I list one of them, because I know one of you was highly interested in that card. So if I do decide to sell it, it'll be in a YouTube short. I'm not going to make a full video unless, it's like a discussion of multiple cards. I think that it's just easier on me. And that's it. To my Transformers collectors out there, once I get my upgrade kits for, and no, that's not beer, that's seltzer, by the way. Main staple of my diet. Forgive the busy bee in the back. The landscapers are here. I do have upgrade kits for my Optimus Primes, or Optimus Prime-I. I don't know. Optimus is. Once those upgrade kits come, then I'll do a full video, so I don't have to go back and shoot 2 videos with upgrades and stuff. I'll do the upgrade shots, Johnny on the spot, when I get those things. So a lot of content to come, guys. It's just finding the time to do it. Anyway, this is like a 30-minute video. Listen, take care. God bless. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. If you want to support the channel, click on the link in the description box below. It really helps to support the channel. And I'm still waiting for my latest jumbo box of Topps Chrome update to come. Man, that was a negotiation and a half. So it should be here hopefully next week. I got a whole bunch of stuff to review and talk about. But take care. God bless. Stay safe. I'll see you all very soon. Take care, everyone.